Good morning, everyone. Hope you all have enjoyed the previous two speakers who provided their point of view on citizen customer experience. It's clearly evident in today's marketplace that CX is playing a major role in transforming how services are delivered and how services are being expected to be delivered by the citizens and customers in the government space. I'm going to give you sort of a different perspective on a key enabling factor to citizen experience, and that is providing for what I would consider a key element, and I'll talk about this a little bit when I get into the specifics, which is security. How does FedRAMP enable CX? It's a very crucial question to be asked, as that's my core discussion topic this morning. As you all can clearly experience or have experienced, transitioning to a more robust set of engagement channels to holistically address the customer experience demands in today's marketplace, which is predominantly driven by digital channels. FedRAMP-enabled services is almost imperative to enable quicker and effective delivery of solutions while maintaining or providing for what I would consider a secured environment. Further, obviously there is a major change in dynamics, and I think it's positive, for how agencies have come to adopt more of cloud services within government agencies. And FedRAMP enables a secured environment or provides for the necessary compliance framework that enables a secured environment, be it infrastructure, platform, software, or any of the three components in combination that you can imagine. Before I get into the specifics, I view the relationship between customer experience and cloud computing closely adjacent to how services can be enabled through the FedRAMP compliance framework. Let me first talk a little bit about what is the need for us to be FedRAMP certified, right? So if you look at today's opportunities that has come to be in the marketplace with the evolution of cloud, it is the ability for you to bring about more innovative solutions to the marketplace in a very short period of time, which clearly must also meet the security and compliance requirements, right? So when agencies are looking to do that, they clearly have an opportunity now for them to be able to address their needs in the quickest means possible, yet meet the security requirements. And that's the relationship that I see between citizen experience and leveraging cloud with a FedRAMP compliant platform. Now, security as such, in my opinion, is very much embedded, if you will, into pretty much most of the IT or technology related projects within federal government or the state and local governments. It is a embedded and an inherent function, I would imagine, with all of the security controls that needs to be addressed prior to making a service available for the public. Clearly understand GSA, DHS, and DoD have put together a great team, and they are in the forefront of enabling more FedRAMP services to the marketplace that enables these secured solutions and services that are today available for agencies to adopt, right? Before I go into the relationship between how FedRAMP maps to a customer experience aspect of it, I'd like to take a couple minutes to walk you all through what does it mean from a cloud computing standpoint. Let's talk about that particular tenet, if you will. So clearly, it has been proven that the enablement of IT services is clearly available now in a scale that provides for a secured environment that's reliable and actually meets the cost demands that can be leveraged across the federal government. I view this less of an option and more of the norm in the future. Clearly, the Information Technology Modernization Initiative can greatly leverage the secured services that are available that can actually reduce the overall time to delivery. As I said before, the cloud computing environment has actually enabled several innovative technologies to be brought into the marketplace, right? When you bring these innovative technologies to the marketplace, there is always the initial hurdle to ensure that the platform is actually secure, and that's where FedRAMP cloud services become a critical aspect of agencies validating and verifying what applies to their environment and how best to leverage them, with less to be concerned about whether the service is actually secure enough to meet the FedRAMP guidance, right? The next topic that I want to touch upon is obviously CX, and we've had two great speakers this morning who talked about CX in much more detail, but I'd like to provide you a perspective that is related to security and confidence, right? So there are multiple tenets in how you would ensure that a person has a great experience from a service standpoint. In my view, that includes personalization and the quality of service that's being delivered in terms of how you're spoken to, how your services are being met, clearly the response time in terms of engaging you to serve your needs, like you're not on a call or in a chat waiting for 5 minutes to somebody to respond. Your expectations in terms of how your requests are being addressed and how quickly they are being resolved, which means it is always outcomes driven. Being able to demonstrate the empathy that is required while someone is in dire need of the service that the government programs provide today. But most of all, if somebody has to engage and provide their personally identifiable information, they clearly want to make sure that that platform provides them the level of confidence and feels comfortable in terms of the level of security that they have come to expect from the government process, right? And I'll give you a quick example. I still remember initially about 9 or 10 years back when my mom moved here with me, she actually was doing a transaction online. I was actually helping her do an online transaction. And there she was buying her nice little vase. And in the process, she actually was asking me if she is comfortable or if I am okay allowing her to put her credit card into the system. And I still remember walking her through and explaining to her to verify if every place where she puts her credit card information, if there is a SSL encryption at the URL, right? It's a very simple thing for people to look at and go, is that HTTPS? Am I securing my transmission of the data? And is it being transmitted in the right way, right? Obviously, we have to ensure that the site itself is secure to begin with. Though I put her on it, she was still not comfortable if she needed to put her credit card. I bring this example into perspective because people feel comfortable doing things when they feel confident in the platform that they are interacting with a level of security that they have come to expect, right? So it's a very important component of the customer experience paradigm that we are talking about. Now let me talk about FedRAMP, and I don't need to say a whole lot. Obviously, the GSA, DoD, and DHS have formed a really joint authorization board that actually goes through every FedRAMP service that's actually brought to the table. They review through the process and actually address that, address the security compliance requirements, and that's how they bring a service, they accredit a service as FedRAMP compliant. There is also another mechanism of being able to do that where you rely on a sponsorship from an agency and you do an ATO-based FedRAMP service. But regardless, the goal of the entire process is for you to have a very secured, compliant platform accredited by the board or the GSA PMO, right? In either case, the process does not stop when you're done with certification. It's actually a continuous monitoring and continuous adherence to the security guidelines that is being provided by GSA. If you do not meet those guidelines, you don't get to keep those FedRAMP services, right? The reason I bring this up, and the leaders at all these agencies have come together to make sure they establish a really comprehensive framework so people don't need to repeat this process over and over again. And that basically means you're reducing the amount of time that is required to secure an environment before you bring it and put it to use for service, right? Now that we talked about customer experience and we talked about security. Let's see how we relate the two, right? Now, from a platform perspective, clearly when a particular solution is designed to meet a customer's service requirements, there is always evolution to that platform. By that I mean, if somebody wants to make a change to how the platform supports a particular service process, you can actually, in these days, leveraging the DevSecOps methodology, actually be able to deploy a change into a production environment in less than 24 hours, or even less than that for that matter. When you do that, the security aspect of ensuring that service that is delivered into that platform is secured is actually a component of how FedRAMP validates their compliance. In other words, if you make any changes to a FedRAMP certified environment, you are supposed to view the information from a standpoint of any security impact assessment that you perform and make sure that those changes do not necessarily alter the posture of that particular secured service. FedRAMP solutions provide a very disciplined approach to how you continuously improve and modernize the platform, right? It basically ensures that you're adhering to the security guidelines that's put up in the framework and things that you have to follow and adhere to as you deliver new services on the environment or new application enhancements in the platform. So in my opinion, FedRAMP is a key component in two aspects. One is it ensures security of the platform, which is extremely critical to how someone would have a great experience with regards to any services provided, which is one. The second thing is when you have a shorter time to delivery in terms of newer enhancements and better functionality to support citizen experience, you do not want to wait for 6 months or 9 months to go through all the security process. You can actually do that much faster with the FedRAMP compliance framework. I hope this gives you a good perspective of how FedRAMP can actually enable better customer experience. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.